husband's name is Alan.
Correct.
And I understand you and Alan have divided up the testimony that he's farming right now, and that you will speak about the route and the insurance and safety liability aspects.
Correct.
Did you and your husband Alan cause to be drafted and filed in this matter pre-filed testimony?
Yes.
And if we were to walk through all of that again, would your answers given here today be substantially similar than the ones you gave in your pre-filed testimony?
Yes.
And along with that testimony, you also included some exhibits and attachments, is that right?
Correct.
Did you have any corrections or updates you wanted to make to that?
Yeah, just a few. They're probably minor, but on page 3, I believe it is, we indicated that my in-laws had purchased the property in 1973. I thought it was the acreage as well as the 60 acres north. That was 60 acres north was purchased a few years later. So later in the 70s was all. And then the second question down talks about the well less than 300 feet. And I am not exactly sure on that amount. I've tried measuring with rulers and a whole bunch of things. And so I'm very unsure of that distance right now.
Okay, very good. And that might be something that Alan is more specific on.
Yeah, possibly. Yep.
Okay, very good. All right, with that, I would offer Exhibit 295 and 296, the Laubenthal pre-filed testimony and attachments.
Are there objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
The board will admit, give it the way due.
Thank you. With that, ma'am, I'm going to tender you for cross-examination.
Mr. Taylor?
Thank you. I'm Wally Taylor. I represent the Sierra Club.
Okay.
And in order to throw Mr. Dublinsky off, I'm not going to ask for the KMZ file first.
But have it ready.
So when did you first learn about the Summit project? And how?
Well, I believe it was around 2021. I could be wrong. I work outside the home, so my husband has been dealing a lot with the pipeline as far as with the land agents and everyone like that involved. So I believe it was 2021 that we first kind of heard about it.
And then did you attend a, what they call an informational meeting?
I did not.
Did you have any contact or discussions with any agents or representatives from Summit?
I did not.
Okay. So your husband did that?
Correct.
Okay. And now I can put the KMZ file up. Okay. Does this map look like your property and where you understand the pipeline route would be?
It does look like the property. It actually looks like it might be slightly north than what I originally thought.
You mean the pipeline route?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what did you understand the initial route would be?
Well, part of my issue was using the little legends that were on the maps, because 1 inch was 292 feet, or sometimes it was 200 feet. The property line on the south kind of goes at an angle, so it kind of goes down the driveway and then it angles up a little bit. So as I was trying to measure, step it out, whatever it all took, it kind of was adjusted as another map came that kind of showed it more down the driveway versus inside the driveway on the north side.
And then do you know how and when it got changed to the kind of a hump going north and then coming back down?
That I'm not sure. I mean, I think the only reason, from what I can tell anyways, on why it's going up and around is because the tree line that's there where the line crosses would end up being right on the edge, and I'm sure they had to move it out from there for the roots of the trees and things like that, I'm guessing.
So when you say trees, is that dark green? area on
Yeah,
the
in
south?
that southwest corner. Yep.
And is that something your husband may have talked to the agents about?
That I do not know.
Okay. There are some structures just south of your property. What is that?
So this is a machine shed. This is our house. This is a hoop barn with 50 to 100 head of cattle, maybe. I'm not exactly sure on the amount. And this is also a hoop barn with 400 or so cattle.
Okay.
This is an ingredient shed that feeds all the cattle. And then our bins.
All right. So you live in that area?
Yes, right there.
Okay. So the original route would have been extremely close to your house, correct?
And I don't know if that was an original route or not. The only one that I've seen is having it go up and around like that.
Oh, okay. Did you ever talk to your husband about the impacts of having the pipeline that close to your house?
Yeah, it's something that we've both talked about a lot. Fear of the safety of it. We have 2 kids. Being on a farm, we're all outside a lot when we're home. So there's definitely some safety concerns with it.
Where would the nearest emergency response personnel be?
We're kind of a unique situation. We have Whittemore that is 6 to 7 miles to the northwest of us. If they're unavailable or short-staffed, it would either be West Bend, who is 7 to 8 miles southwest of us, or Algona that would, who is 10 to 15 to the northeast. They would be the ones that would respond. But the hazmat, if there was a rupture, they come from Mason City.
Okay, and how far is Mason City?
A good hour.
Does that concern you?
Yeah, we have friends that are firefighters and know the chiefs, and they've kind of alluded that they'll have their monitors and block off the road and wait for hazmat to come. So kind of feel like I might be a sitting duck if I'm at home, not being able to really go anywhere, do anything.
Have you determined whether you could get insurance on the property or not?
Objection.
State the objection.
Asked and answered. This is dealt with extensively in the pre-written testimony, including on pages 19, 20, 36, and 40, as well as attachment 12.
I'll ask another question.
Thank you.
Is there a well on the property?
Yes.
Where would that be?
That is, I don't know if you can zoom it in a little bit more. It kind of almost looks a little hidden because of the way that the trees hang over. They hang over probably 6 to 10 feet. So the well is probably right about there.
So on the south edge of the tree line?
Yes.
All right.
And I think it's either right on the line or right inside of that parcel line for the eminent domain.
I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Colas.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Laubenthal.
Laubenthal, yes.
Laubenthal, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
You mentioned your question about safety concerns. And you've talked to your husband a lot about the construction of the pipeline. What were your concerns regarding that?
I mean, for us, it's the close proximity to the home, not having dispersion models, not to be able to kind of, know or understand what levels, how it would be. We have concerns with the cattle on the property. Some are custom fed, some are not. So, if something were to happen to the cattle as well, that could be an issue as well. Feel for my kids because one's in college, one is a senior in high school, but we'll be heading to college next year. And it'll be my husband and I, and if something happens, the likelihood that we're there to take care of everything after probably won't happen, and it's going to be left to them to handle.
You mentioned they didn't give you a dispersion model. Have they given you or your husband any kind of hazard or risk analysis of the pipeline?
No.
Where did you get this information? Pertaining to your own research or?
As far as the safety or? Yeah, I mean, through research, we've attended the supervisor meetings as well. Dylan has come to quite a few of ours in Kossuth County, and so we've listened to some of his, information as well.
Are they one of the counties that are protesting it? The group of Kossuth County, if I remember.
Yes, Kossuth County hired Mr. Whippel, yes, I don't know all the details of that because that's usually a closed session thing.
Did your supervisors attempt to restrict going through that county?
The Planning and Zoning Committee met, had an open hearing to be able to visit, hear concerns. They gave a recommendation to the supervisors. The supervisors had met a couple of different times. The last time they met, I think, was around May 9th. And in the process of their discussion, they had received an email, and the email just kind of referenced some of the Shelby County and what was going on. And at that time, they just decided to table it and kind of wait and see what happens.
Are you concerned that Summit Carbon Pipeline has not been permitted in North Dakota or South Dakota?
To some extent, yes. I mean, there's nowhere that's where it's heading. So at this point, kind of get the approval here. If they do, then you still have the approvals in the other states.
Okay, so your husband's going to talk about the actual lay of the land and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he'll talk about all the farming, tiling. I'm the mama bear, the worrier, and the caretaker at our house.
Do you depend on your property for your income?
Objection. State the objection.
Asked and answered, page 3 of the direct testimony.
Thank you. Ms. Colas?
Sorry, I don't see it. Okay, I guess that answers all of my questions. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Jorde for redirect.
Yes, thank you. Can we pull up that KMZ, please? Ma'am, you had used the phrase close proximity relative to the proposed pipeline route in your home. I'd like to get a little better idea of what that is. Could we please measure that? Five hundred and 14 feet, is that what you see there as the distance?
Yeah, I can't read that, but yeah.
Okay. Take my word for it.
Yeah.
So you had also mentioned that because Summit refuses to provide its hazard distances and plume modeling, that you've had to go out and do your own research on that?
Yeah, I mean, I try and do research, try and look. I followed a little bit with some of the other hearings in other states just because my son is in South Dakota now, but try and gather some information in regards to the plumes. Have seen some videos, things like that as well. I know I believe yesterday when Nancy Erickson testified about the plume study, I believe she used my house for that. So when she used the Aloha software, she kind of said, you know, the funny thing is it didn't matter what direction or what the wind was doing for your house.
So then, based on all that, you're aware that there's estimates out there that from a 20-inch or greater pipeline that the plume at a level of concentration hazardous to human health could travel over 3,000 feet or more.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
And given that you're 514 feet, I take it that's a serious concern of yours.
Yes.
And would you agree that until such time Summit would make publicly its plume modeling so that it could be vetted and discussed in the public, that there should be no approval of this pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, I guess one thing that's, for me, if this is a public necessity, I still don't understand why the plume can't be public.
All right. And I think you had said that you hadn't had any personal interactions with Summit, but that your husband would speak to that. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have anything further. Thank you.
Thank you. You're excused. Appreciate it. Mr. Jorde?
We will call John Hargens.